Hey guys, T-Bull here. Today I got a Mogami match for you. It's on the map Trident, standard capture the base mode. There's a couple things you need to know about the Mogami, either playing as the ship or against the ship. Number one, if you show a broadside, you are going to get absolutely smoked. The Citadel on this just attracts death and destruction, okay? I've played maybe 15 to 20 games in this, and I've been one shot with full health twice, alright? So you need to be very, very careful when you're turning in this thing. And if you're getting in the habit of pointing your broadside at people, you're not going to be lasting very long. The second thing you need to know is it's an absolute DPM machine. This thing pumps out damage like a madman. It's an amazing cruiser to play. You just got to be very careful to play with it. Another thing you can take note of is the torpedo range, and this is 11 kilometers, so that's something to be aware of if you're playing against this thing. Now they are only they're rear firing torpedoes, so unless you have a ship chasing you, you have to turn quite a bit towards them. So you need to really pick your spots. But if you see Mogami and you're thinking it doesn't look like it's in torpedo range, make sure it's not in torpedo range, because they can sneak up on you. I got this thing spec'd out a little bit strangely, maybe not strangely, I don't know. I have aiming systems mod 1, that's standard. Steering gears mod 2 for the second mod, that's pretty standard for cruisers for me. But instead of concealment systems mod 1, which I would typically use in the third slot for cruisers, I actually put on steering gears mod 3. So we have 2 steering gears modules on this thing, and that is because you need to be able to dodge shots in this thing, right? And you'll see some examples of that in this game. I played a few games with the normal concealment systems mod, which is viable. I'm not saying it's not worth trying out, and you might find it actually works better for you. But because, I mean, the Japanese cruisers have pretty good concealment, and you're going to need to rely on your concealment. You can see me right now actually relying on it. But I went with both steering gears mods. I'm happy with that. I'm going to keep that. And then the fourth slot, you can either use the mod that increases your range. I got main battery mod 3, which increases the reload time, or sorry, decreases the reload time, but it does slow down the turret traverse. Now compared to the Mayoko, this thing's turret traverse is a lot better. So the first game, if you get a new ship, I normally recommend take it out, test spin, just play it without any mods on it, get a feel for it. And if you do that, you'll notice the turrets turn quite a bit better. So despite main battery mod 3 slowing down the turret traverse a little bit, I was fine with that. Now here, this Mogami wants to demonstrate the Citadel for you guys, so I'm happy to oblige. Put some shots into him, and he gone. Yeah, that you cannot show your Citadel in this thing. Cruisers, battleships, they will smoke you. Again, I've full health. It's talk about rage-inducing if you get full health Citadel right off the bat. I mean, that's so you need to be very careful. But you can see it right off the bat. This map is fairly wide open, so I'm going to play it more of a dancing style as opposed to using cover. And I have a lot of ships over here that could potentially hit me, so I'm being very careful. This guy very obviously is shooting torpedoes at me. If he's not, he's spilled his beer or something. I don't know what he's doing, but I throw on the sonar just to check for the torpedoes. I strongly suspect they're in the water. But you can see, I mean, just against this Mayoko and the enemy Mogami, those are the only 2 ships I've really hit, and we're already up to 40k damage. So here you'll see the rear turret traverse. You can see those arcs, they point to the rear of the ship. So if you're in a position where this Mayoko is, you got to be very careful. I put them on wide. Cruisers at this close range, that helps hit them in certain situations. But if they're that close and they try and maneuver, that's actually going to make it very hard for them to miss some of these torpedoes. So content to let those things put him on the bottom of the sea, that's fine. Now here, this Colorado, I'm going to start shooting AP at him. Broadside battleships like this, you can actually do quite a bit of damage with AP rounds, but I need to make a decision here. I'm looking at the map. I don't have a lot of support over here. I do have this destroyer that's kind of spotting slash, you know, screening for torpedoes and stuff like that. And he's, you know, he's doing work too. I'm not trying to take away from what he's doing, but in terms of heavy firepower, I don't have a lot on this side. So I'm just going to put these torpedoes down there. Obviously, it's a blind fire shot, but get them in the water. And then I've switched over to high explosives. I'm just going to kite away from this guy. I'm just going to whittle him down. I'm going to rely on the very nice maneuverability of the ship, especially with those two steering gear mods stacked on each other. You know, you'll see it flip back and forth almost like a destroyer. So at this angle, yeah, he's going to do some damage to me, but as long as I'm not showing that citadel, I'm fine with this. Now, if you're in a kiting situation with a cruiser, in general, you're going to be able to get 2 volleys off per incoming salvo. So you need to be mostly concerned about when the incoming fire comes in. And once he's fired, then you essentially have 2 reloads. So you can fire once in return, and then you have to be a little less concerned the second time you open up your angle. Obviously those torpedoes miss, but those are close enough that he's got to start thinking about them. Now the torpedoes are back up, and that's another thing to note is there are torpedo systems on both sides of the ship. So if you see this thing flipping back and forth, there's potential for multiple salvos of torpedoes. Now I've got to kite it away from my torpedo range, but that's fine. I'm actually out of gun range here. I'm just going to kind of reset here and cool it down a little bit. Take a little breather. I guess he's still kind of in range, but even when I'm shooting there, you can see because he's traveling into my shot, I can actually fire and not get detected because I'm outside of even my max firing distance. He's not actually within that distance when I shoot, so you have like a 2 or 3 second window where if no ship detects you, then your detectability will drop back down. But that's a key part of playing these top tier Japanese cruisers. You need to be able and willing to disengage and kind of reset. Resist the urge to feel that you always need to be shooting every time you reload, because that's going to allow return fire to come in for you. You just need to pick your spots, basically. Now this guy, he can't detect me now, so I'm just going to open it all the way up, take a free shot. That's a free salvo for me. And then I'm going to angle back in towards him and just await his incoming fire. He obliges me right off the bat. He was probably still kind of suspecting I was over here. And then we angle right in on him. Take 1 shell, look like maybe 2 at the most, but that's no problem. I'm just going to keep whittling him on down here. Now I really don't like playing on the edge of the map. I know some players only play on the edge of the map, but I don't like it because it's basically one giant island that you can run into. So it's something to be aware of when you're in these positions. It's Colorado, whether he's aware of where he is on the map or not, I don't know, but he's going full bore into it. And if you hit the edge, it cuts your engine speed down, so it makes it very hard to actually maneuver. Now there's not a lot he can do. I'm just competing with whoever else is firing at this guy to get the kill, basically, at this point. But you can see these HE shells too. If you're hitting shots where they can penetrate, which is quite a bit of surfaces, they're going to do quite a bit of damage. A little bit of fire damage here and there, but a lot of the damage I've gotten is just from straight up penetrations, both AP and HE shells. And we're whittling them down, and lo and behold, because he kind of got stuck on the wall here, we're actually going to finish him off with a torpedo, I believe. So I see you trying to steal my kill back there. It ain't going to work. Now looking at the map here, I didn't know if I was going to be able to engage anymore in this match. Luckily we were, so I'll skip forward. It's about 2-3 minutes. We were quite a bit out of position, obviously, because we were playing the extreme edge of map, but luckily for us, we're able to scoot forward. Now here they have a Nagato to the directly in front of me, and then who's fairly low health, and then a fairly full health Atlanta to my left. Now I'm picking my target here. Who do I want to pick? Part of me is thinking the Atlanta would be easier to kill, but I'm thinking if I can kill that Nagato, he's the big threat to me, alright? he's definitely, his guns are way more of a threat. Now that Atlanta, he can definitely burn me down. I'm not saying he's not a threat, and I'm not, mentally I'm juggling back and forth. Who do I want to kill? Who do I want to kill? Or engage? Let's not jump ahead and say we're going to kill him, but I end up deciding on the Nagato. Part of that is because I know the Nagato is going to focus on me and I start shooting at me. I don't know what the Atlanta's focusing on. Can he see that destroyer? If he can and he's smart, he'd probably want to. That was a risky put. If he would have hit that shot, that would have been game over. You know, if he can see the destroyer and he's properly selecting his targets, he should try and kill them. But you can see we now have the golden shower coming in from the Atlanta, so that's going to be basically harassment through the end of the match. So my goal here is to kill this Nagato as quickly as possible. And again, we're operating on the assumption that I'm basically going to get 2 salvos off per every time he can return fire. And these HE shells are doing just fine. I'm doing my best to dodge and weave. The Atlanta's not really going to be able to do much base damage with those HE shells, but I do not want to be catching multiple fires, so that's my concern. I see he's full broadside for some reason. I don't know why. Switch to AP, and this is the best. Full broadside Atlanta. Just come on. Oh, I wanted that 1 salvo, but that's fine. If he wants me to play with my food a little bit, that's cool. And we're able to squeeze that one off and put together Kraken on 2-7 with the Mogami. So I actually love this ship. It's awesome, but you do have to play it very, very carefully. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please hit the thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. Plenty more World of Warships coming all the time. Questions, comments for me, leave them below. You know I love to hear from you guys. And we'll see y'all later. Alright, peace.